Hello everyone, it's JoshiEgg56 and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Tips and Tricks. Today I will be covering some hotkeys you can use to make your life in Minecraft a lot easier. So stay tuned, I will get right into it. Alright, so in case you don't know what I mean by hotkeys, it's basically a key combination you're using on the keyboard, and I'm also, just for the sake of this video, going to cover other keys you can use in Minecraft to change the way the gameplay works. So I'm just going to go along the line of the function keys at the top. The first one is F1, and if you just press that once, the GUI will hide and it will show again. Next you have F2, and that's used to make a screenshot. Now this will literally take a screenshot of everything what's on the screen. So even if you still have this screenshot message open and you take another screenshot, it will be in the screenshot. So that's what you don't want. So usually people use it in combination with the F1 key, and then they press F2. And then you can see it made a screenshot right there. On to the next key, and that is the F3 screen. If you just press it once, you will get a load of debug information. That's why this screen is also called the debug screen. I will cover this screen in more detail and explain what it all is and how you can use it to your advantage as well. So just pressing F3 like this will just show and hide the F3 screen. Now there are some really nice combination of the F3 key and a specific letter on your keyboard. The first one I'm going to show you is F3 and Q, and this is really handy if you want to know these keys. So press F3, hold it, and press Q, and then you will get this nice key bindings, what they say, a list of all the combinations you can do with the F3 key to do certain things which might help you in the game. So I'm just going to follow this list here, and there are a few more even. I'm going to show you those as well. So we'll start off with the beginning, and that's F3 and A, and what that will do is just reload the chunks right there. And since I think it is 1.9 or 1.10, we have this new debug message that gives you a little feedback on what it actually did. The next one is F3 and B, which will show you the hitboxes, and that's best if I just demonstrate that right now. Oh, it actually works in the inventory too. You see my hitbox, and I can show it over right here, but it works for other mobs as well. Like, I think we have a chicken over here, yes, and this does also work for items and other stuff like that. But this is very handy if you are doing kind of PvP things and you want to aim perfectly at the some kind of mob, and then you know where to hit it. And most of these can be toggled off as well, just pressing the same key again. Alright, the next one is F3 and C, and if you hold that longer than 10 seconds, your game will initiate a game crash, what they call a debug crash, which can be helpful if you're running across a bug and people on the bug tracker want some more information. They might ask for that as well. So that will just make your game crash. It's a funny thing to prank your friends even with if they don't know this. Alright, then let's show the list again. So as you could see, F3 and C is not on the list right here. Next one is F3 and D, which will clear the chat. So if I'll just type something in chat, and the whole history basically will be gone, like this whole list. Except for if you press the up arrow, your last commands will be still there. So the key to do this is F3 and D, and it won't show a message because you don't want any feedback. But as you can see, I still got my recent commands I executed. So that's a real new thing they added in 1.11, which is really good. Now the next one is F3 and F, and that says cycle render distance. And it will add 1 to the render distance, so it will increase the render distance by 1. And if you want to lower this one down, you have to hold F3 Shift and then press F. So that's F3, Shift and F. And then you can use F3 and D to get rid of the chat. Really nice. Alright, let's get back to the list. Let's see. We got chunk boundaries. F3 and G. Now this is really handy for world edit peoples, or I don't know, or on faction servers if you want to know which chunk, where some chunks are. So you'll see this goes up. The blue lines are the boundary of the chunk. So that's the edge of the chunk right there. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth chunks over there. But if you can see the red barriers, or the red lines around here to indicate that you're not in that chunk, but that will indicate that it's the next chunk. And if you walk into this giant box will move with you. So that's really nice. Again, press the same keys again to disable it. Alright, now the next one is heavily used throughout the community, and that is F3 and H, which will toggle the IDs of items, the durability, and all that kind of stuff. So you see that durability and the ID on the bottom, and also you see the ID which is 256. So that's with the option turn on, and with the option turned it's a little nicer, but you can't read the durability. Now we got F3 and N, which will cycle to creative and spectator mode. So that's a really nice thing if you really quickly want to do some creative or spectator stuff. Alright, next one is F3 and P, and that toggles pause on lost focus. And what that means, that if I get my mouse out of here, and usually that's done by alt tabbing, and I just did that right now, you can see my mouse is out of here and it's not paused. I can, for instance, if you have 2 monitors, or you want to keep your window open while you're doing stuff in other windows, that's something you could do. But bear in mind, in single player this will not pause the game. In servers, there's no problem with that, because in a server the gameplay will just get going, but in single player your game will pause, like will freeze. So if you turn that option off, then your single player is no longer frozen. So keep that in mind. So once again, if I would go to another window right now, you will see that it goes back to game, this menu. So yeah, that's the difference. Alright, next one is F3 and S, which is not in this list right here, but it reloads server-side modules, textures, and sounds. So server texture packs basically. So apparently it doesn't work in single player, which is fairly obvious. Then we got F3 and T, which will reload resource packs. And this might take a while because the game is frozen now. You saw that a little bit, that I moved my camera, so it takes about 3 seconds, so don't get afraid if your game lags a little bit, because that's intended. It will just reload the whole resource pack, and is kinda similar to when you go to options and then resource packs and you click done. When you apply a new resource pack, it takes a little bit of a while, so that's kind of the same thing. And there's also some other kinds of stuff, such as Shift and F3, which will open up this crazy graph in the right here. And I believe you can do, you can use the numbers. Alright, this is really tricky. You can go and switch to different things, but you have to hit 0 sometimes, so I don't know really how this works. I think if you just press a number 1 to 9 and then press 0 again to get back to the root. And this is just a profiler graph, what I mean. And I think this is just all going on, basically. I'm not an expert on this one, so I'll just leave it be. And then we have Alt F3, and you get this little thing. And it's the frame time graph, so you can see how your frame rate varies. So mine's kinda really steady at 60 frames per second. You can also open both graphs at the same time with Alt-Shift F3. Alright, then we got the last few keys. If you're playing 1.7 and you're messing with the super secret settings or the shaders, you can press F4 to get rid of the shaders, but right now we don't have the super secret settings anymore. So then moving on, we got F5, and you should be able to know what that does. It toggles the perspective from the back perspective to the front perspective, and then back to first person perspective. And the last function key is F11, and that will full screen your game. And there's also one more thing which I will just quickly show off in a server, and that's of course the tab key. So here we are on Hypixel, and if you just do the tab key, you can see who is online on that server. For Hypixel, that counts as in which lobby and all that kind of stuff. But normally in a normal survival server, you can see who is on the whole server. So that depends. If it's a really big server, of course, you don't see everyone because it can't display that. So that's all there is to it. I hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like if this was helpful. Leave a comment if you want me to cover a specific thing on Minecraft tips and tricks. And other than that, subscribe for more content, and then I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.